This is the Backlog Exposed podcast, bringing you weekly discussions on gaming, as well as quick insights into sports, entertainment, and anything else that we can think of. To get in touch with us, be sure to check out our website, thebacklogexposed.com, where you can find all of our social media details like Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and Facebook. Now. Gear up and get ready, because this backlog is about to be exposed. Hey everybody, if you're listening to this sidecast episode and you were unable to listen to yesterday's episode, this is a broken in half episode. So the previous episode that aired yesterday is the first half, and then this is the second half. We appreciate you listening. Jason, my special guest, is going to be more of a regular here, trying to get in here, especially on the midweek episodes. In the first half of this episode that aired yesterday, we talked a lot about wrestling and UFC, and I broke it up at this point because the continuation of this podcast is going to be more about video games and life as a dad, busy gamer type stuff. So feel free to listen to both. It's a lot of great content, and thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Have you ever played Diablo 3?
Oh yeah, I am big. All Blizzard games I've put a significant amount of time into. Okay, nice. I just picked it up. My buddy Jed, he's been looking for a deal on Diablo 3 for a while. I played the beta back on the 360. Yeah.
Where it came out, and then he beat the shit out of this game back then, and then obviously now it's remastered, and the Ultimate Edition came out for $20. I picked it up.
Yep.
And just the other day, I've been playing the hell out of it with him. He power leveled me.
You haven't played it before?
No. I played the beta, but that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you've really spruced it up.
Yeah, and he power leveled me in like 3 hours, got me to level 50, and so now I can hold my own, go through the story and everything. Like I don't even have to do anything to get there, and now I can play alongside of him in a matter of hours as opposed to days and weeks. I love the fact that this game allows you to do that, especially with the co-op aspect. They're not restricting you from, I jumped into one of his rounds and I was getting a new level every 30, 40 seconds as he was just going, wreaking havoc. And then obviously there'll come a point where I'm, fighting things that are my level and stuff. But I love the fact that they give you the ability. So many games don't let you do that these days, and they actually prohibit the power leveling and stuff. There's so much more to Diablo. And it's been years. I played Diablo 1 and 2, so there's so many years since I've really played this game. It's more than just getting to a certain level. It's repeating the quests. It's doing better. It's getting the items and blah blah blah. The replayability on Diablo.
Yeah, I mean it's that whole loot grind. It's the whole. That's been the key to it. Since it's the only game my wife's actually done a platinum trophy on the PlayStation.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What's funny is, as I was playing this the last 2 days, it made me think a lot of Predator Vendetta Rising. Now, for those of you not familiar, Jason is our big winner for the Predator Vendetta Rising contest we had a couple months ago. The reason he's the winner is because nobody did it properly. Like, we had 3 or 4 people retweet, but those people didn't add, like, the rules were retweet, friend us or follow us, and tag 3 people. Right, that's all. If that's all you had to do, you would have won free copy of this.
That's pretty complicated.
Fucking rule. So, Ed, I know that you had a VR unit. I know you don't get to use it that often, but I wanted to give you this game. I played, I'd say 5 or 6 hours of this game, Predator Vendetta Rising. It is a VR version of Diablo.
Really?
It
all
is.
Right. That's got piqued my attention.
So, and I just realized it is that as I played Diablo, there's 4 or 5 different perspectives that you can see from this game, right? You can see the first person, you can see third person, you can see a little bit further back third person, and then you can see like behind third person, and then overhead, like almost like you're like a Diablo where the character's down below and you can see a lot of the map. But in the VR perspective, it's awesome. You can literally look all around and you're at a high level as like this god looking over the land, and you can see the whole dungeon.
That's awesome.
See the whole dungeon around you because you're elevated to a point, and the graphics on this game are phenomenal. This game did not get the best reviews. Now, I'll warn you before you play it.
Well, I don't pay. Well, we'll get to another subject about that, but that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, don't let it matter, because the one thing, now I talked to the creators of this, the developers, and the main problem with this game is the grind is beyond reasonable. So as fun as the game can be, and the mechanics are good, the story seems to be good, the graphics are some of the best graphics in VR that I've seen, but it takes hundreds of hours, I think, to beat the game, because they kind of made some mistakes with how they did it. I think they said it's like 80 hours to beat, but there's people who have said that they spent like 50 or 60 and they're not even close. The reason that there's such a grind to it is, just like in Diablo, you got to get certain gear. But in this one, in order to progress, you have to get the gear. And it randomly drops. And you have to complete the same dungeons and the same quests over and over and over and over until you complete it and get all the pieces to be able to proceed. And so the drop rate on these items are so low that it just takes forever. And you're doing the same
fun.
Well, like I said, I played for like 5 hours. For those 5 hours, yes, I had fun with it. I didn't find it overly repetitive. It is repetitive, but not overly. It's just like Diablo in my mind. Like, you're going through a level, there's a bunch of monsters, you kill them. You use a couple of different spells.
Yeah.
Things.
With Diablo, though, you have all the different character, the way you can like tailor your character skills and everything. Like, there's a lot.
It's not as detailed as that. It's not as detailed in that aspect, but it's partially there. I mean, you'll see what I mean. From a view and a gameplay style, like a visible look, but also the mechanics and everything. It's very Diablo-esque, where you're smashing buttons trying to kill the enemies. It isn't as polished as a Diablo, but it's just got that vibe and that charm. And in a VR headset, I think it adds to the ambiance of like where you're at. You feel like you're in the dungeon with them. And on top of that, playing Diablo after playing Predator Vendetta Rising, it makes me think, man, Blizzard could have done something different with this Diablo Immortal. Like, if they had to come out and said, we're making a VR version of Diablo or something, like using those mechanics, buying this company. But in turn, what happened was this company it was a couple of guys. The main guy put his life's work, his money, his passion, everything into this game. It did not meet his standards. His standards were higher. He was very disappointed with what he provided as a product. He wanted it to be better. It did not sell well at all. They basically bombed, and then his company got bought out, or he folded or something. And now him and his developers are working for this German company, like rewriting code for some product, as opposed to being able to work on this game and make it better. They had a patch that they were going to be working on last June that was going to fix the loot drop rate and certain things to make it less repetitive. But they just have the money and the time to do it. So the game, as it stands right now, in my last,
I'm just going to be depressed playing it, thinking of what could have been.
See, but that's the thing, is you can still beat it. It just takes forever. So if you find it to be that good, maybe you'll be one of the only people to ever get there. But at the same time, play it with the understanding that you're just, think about what could be in VR. And that's what I love about some of these VR games, is you might not be playing the best version of whatever you're playing, but you might be playing as a prototype for something bigger. So someone like Blizzard might come along and say, you know what, we could utilize that style and that aspect with Blizzard, with our game. And VR 2.0, like you were talking a little bit beforehand, if they do it, if they put the box into the PlayStation 5, if they make it wireless, man, if they make it wireless, that'll be the change of everything.
I think they will, because some of the wireless technology now is allowed for, the latency to be minimal enough, but, we'll see, what, I mean, I'm okay with the wires, honestly. It's just, I still have the old box where I have to hook up everything. Like, if I want 4K HDR, I have to get like a pass through, like switch out cords and everything. And I'm just, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of at that point where it's just that I just want to sit down and play and not have to fiddle around with stuff. And
I wanted to ask you about that, because we were talking a little bit beforehand about jumping in. Like you were saying, you didn't have the you haven't been playing much VR because your setup just isn't in tune with that. It's like to play VR, you kind of have to have your space set up to be able to handle it, which is a negative, I think, for that. Now, I'll tell you though, I set up my bedroom or my office. I have like a I call it a bedroom, but it's like a man cave, but it's just a 10 by 10 bedroom with a bunch of TVs in it and shit. And I have it set up so that I can just throw the headset on because it's sitting there on a shelf and everything's to where I have the new 2.0 with the breaker box that has the pass through and all that. But even if I didn't, you don't even need an output going to a TV for that. You just, you can have the VR unit as a standalone. You just swap the HDMI cables when you go to that or whatever. And, but anyways, long story short, I can throw it on while I'm sitting here at my desk and play a game of Tetris in VR without moving, without getting up. I mean, not every game requires you to stand up. And so my setup is more conducive to sitting games in VR. However, you're going to want to put that headset on sooner rather than later and play Beat Saber, and you're going to want to play Tetris Effect, because I think those
I've heard good things about that.
Are ridiculous. And then, have you heard about Astrobot?
Yes, I have. And trust me, I got all the reasons to put it on. I just have a lot, a lot going on. I have a lot of games, a lot of games, not enough time, and plus I'm also, still I'm in the top, or the second top 2 rating guild on my server, with World of Warcraft, and so.
I wanted to ask you about that. So you're still heavily playing World of Warcraft, right?
I just got back into it earlier this year, and I've always been a healer type. I don't know if you're familiar with the different MMO archetypes, and I've always been very, very it's just kind of in my niche. This is just what I'm good at. And
do you go Templar or more like a cleric?
So I'm a priest in this, which is a very versatile healer. We can kind of manage any situation. I'm always topping healing meters and all that. I'm not trying to brag. It's just I've done it since I played EverQuest back in the day. I played a cleric in that. I've been doing it so long that
you do realize that you and Jed would get along very well, right? Jed's the same way. He's been playing since EverQuest or even before that. Yeah, man, it's funny.
Oh yeah, I need to talk to him, but yeah, that's so yeah, I play that, and I'm gonna. And so we just had expansion release in World of Warcraft, so new raids and all that. So we're trying to progress through some of the hardest content in the game, and you might be we raid twice a week for 3 hours, 9 to 12, and it's not too much of a time commitment, so I'm able to get in a lot of other gaming as well.
Man, I used to put some time into some MMORPGs. I was
playing. You did. You played. What was it? Neverwinter.
And I get sucked in. And I was talking to some people about this recently. Actually, it came up when I was in the sauna the other day after going to the gym, and one of the guys that was in there was talking about addiction and recovering from it and blah blah blah. And I was telling him I feel lucky because I don't have a very addictive personality. When it comes to certain things, other things I do, but luckily when it comes to drugs or alcohol, I don't have this desire to go crazy with it. If I binge drinking every weekend for a year, maybe, right? But if I go I've had a couple of crazy weekends and then I'm fine. And I don't drink for 2 months or whatever. And
so, as you get older, the hangovers get worse than that.
Yeah, exactly. But also I lucked out by living in New Orleans during my 21, 22, 23 years and seeing good people just destroy themselves. Good people that I really cared about just ruin who they were because of drugs and alcohol. And it was I didn't want to go down that path. And so I got to see it firsthand. I could have very easily, I did my fair share of drinking there, but at the same time, we got out quick. And we didn't fall. Crystal and I did not fall to the lifestyle there, and we moved on.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah, exactly. And
so you're implying there's MMO addictions though? Because I think that's the real thing. Because I see.
Yeah, my addiction comes from the inability to sleep. Like I have an addiction to stay awake at night. I think like if there's
I'm
something
the same way. Yeah.
yeah, like I'll get 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night and I'll push myself. Now back in the day, I've been doing this for 20 years, but back in the day, I'd get a good 10 hours sleep on Saturday, 8 hours sleep on Sunday and be back at it on Monday night. But with kids and all that, it's harder to get that recuperation. And I know it's probably very, very unhealthy to live the lifestyle that I live. But like,
well, I mean, yeah, no, some people don't need that much sleep though, you know?
Yeah, but I'm starting to feel it. I know I need it. I know I need more. And so like the mornings are getting harder and harder. And so a couple of weeks ago, I stopped drinking coffee because I was heavily addicted to coffee. And again, we talked about the addiction, right? But I pulled myself off of it. Literally, I just said, you know what? I don't want it anymore. Like I want to try my life without it for a little while, like a week. I went 3 days and I was like, let's do this. I went a week. Now I'm on almost third week, I think, where I haven't, not that I haven't touched coffee. I've had a cup or two here or there. Actually, I've never had more than one cup.
It should be more effective now too, right? I mean, the caffeine should, like, I had the same thing with energy drinks and I kind of reduced my consumption of it significantly. And now they actually work like they're supposed to. So.
Yeah, well, I've tricked my brain because I got decaf coffee, dark roast decaf, which tastes strong, but it doesn't do anything. And so for the first week, it was really tough. I mean, I was going through the withdrawal feelings of like anger and headaches, like migraines, like crazy. And then they went away. And now it's just fatigue. And to be honest, like I am tired and sluggish all the time. Whereas before, literally 3 weeks ago, I didn't get tired. Like I just, body was just on fire. But that's since I was.
That's the seasons. Because I notice I get the same way. Because I'm the way you are. Like I just need 3 to 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and I'm usually pretty good. But then I find during the winters sometimes I'll be honest, more sluggish.
I just upped my dosage. Like I was going from, I was having 4 to 5 cups of coffee a day to 6 to 8, and then I went out and I bought this stuff called Death Wish coffee, which is supposedly the strongest coffee in the world.
Yeah,
and I was drinking 6 to 8 Tervis cups, so 20-ounce Tervis cups full a day of coffee, all the way up till like 5 or 6 p.m. You know, throughout the whole day, that was the drink. I'd have a bottle of water and a coffee at all times. That coffee would be full. Working from home, turn around and go over to my Keurig and pump a new one out. And I was so invested in that. Like I was just on fire all the time. Like I always felt like I had energy. I'd get fatigued every once in a while, but not crazily. And now it's like without the coffee, I don't feel horrible, but I definitely feel tired. Like I feel, and maybe I'm supposed to, you know what I mean? Maybe that's right. Maybe that's the right way to be. But at the same time,
I mean, I'm not here to encourage unhealthy lifestyle or anything. I just, you know, it's like, it's like my granddad used to say, you know, everything in moderation. But then he also died of his 7th heart attack. So I don't know how healthy that lifestyle really was, but you know.
But when it comes to addiction, though, for me, I know my main addiction falls to this repetitive video game style. Like when I'm jumping from game to game, I play less video games. But when I'm playing Fortnite and I'm playing Neverwinter or I'm playing Shadowbane or whatever, whatever that is, like World of Warcraft back when it came out, what was it called? Lord of the Rings.
You know, they're really, sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack you real quick, but the WoW Classic's coming out. So.
Yeah.
You can always jump into that for a little bit.
Which one?
They're releasing World of Warcraft Classic, so it's going to be like a classic server.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah, it's coming out next February, I think. I beta tested it during BlizzCon. Like if you got an online BlizzCon ticket, you could try it out. And it felt.
Original work, or do I have to buy it again?
No, you just have to have had a Blizzard account. You have to have a Blizzard subscription, but as long as you have a Blizzard subscription, you can play it. It's like,
you know what's funny is my Blizzard account got hacked at least 6 or 7 times throughout the years. Because I mean, I've had a Blizzard account since Warcraft 2 or whatever, like Battle.net, and I don't even know if it's active anymore. I haven't tried in probably 4 or 5 years, but
they're really good about restoring it because they know that's money for them.
I had to send a picture of my license one time, and then it still got hacked again after that. And I was like, I'm probably just not going to go back to that account. But
Well, see, I'll tell you something with my Warcraft. One of the things that brought me back to it is because I was really hard in the rating back before I got married when I was in, like, just joined the Air Force and everything. I got really hard into it. And I got like a lot of rare mounts and things like that, rare achievements. So I looked up the value of my account. Right now, it's sitting at about $7,000. And it's like, I could sell it, but I could. I think Blizzard's really good about stomping down on that right now, actually. But, that's one of the things that brought me back to it. And I know it's the whole like time sunk fallacy thing. It's like you've already invested so much into it, might as well keep playing.
Yeah, but, absolutely. I mean,
but I do enjoy it though. Like, and I have a lot of nostalgia with it, a lot of good memories. And it sounds stupid to say like you have good memories video game, but
no, dude, this is the thing that I talk to a lot of friends who no longer play video games anymore, and I try to get them to play, not to like trick them into doing something they don't want to do, but like just think about some of the good times you've had and what makes you happy. So like I played certain games, they made me happy at the time. You might go back to them and they might not make you happy anymore. They might not be that good anymore or whatever, but there's some games that the nostalgia factor, or the fact is maybe you overdid it back then, or maybe you played too much of it, or you were done with it at the time. But going back to an old game is good. You get reconnecting with some old friends who played or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll give you a great example of this. Is I used to play Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Yeah.
And I played with my buddy Julian a lot. And we were real close. I mean, at the time, I would say he was one of my best friends. And so it's been many years since I've really hung out and connected with Julian, but he's still to this day one of the funnest people I've ever hung out with. And so I was playing the new Battlefield 5 the other day, and I was really getting into it. I was just playing solo, by myself. And I'm like, man, I wish Julian were here. I wish Julian and I were over here sniping off this hill. Like, and I just, in my mind, it brought me back to those moments. And I was like messaging him, you got to get on PlayStation. And he's just not interested. But you know what? I guarantee he jumped on, we got on that headset, and we started playing. We'd be giggling like little kids again. We'd be having a hell of a good time. And so, everyone just lets the world get in front of them. And I was telling Joe the other day, my brother he's a busy guy, but he's one of the best. He's the hardest working guy. And he puts so much time into work. And he's probably a lot like me in the sense of, there's always something to do, right? I could go in my garage, or I can go, rake the lawn, or build something. I got a 3D printer. I got just 1,000 things that we could be doing. But sometimes you just need to sit down, put yourself in front of something that makes you happy, and enjoy it. So I went out. My brother doesn't play video games anymore. He hasn't played video games since many years ago. He has an Xbox 360, but I only think he has a couple games for it. And I don't think he ever really played. I mean,
there's a lot of people like that some, especially during that genre. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that have PS4s and Xbox Ones. Like,
that don't. I have an Xbox One. I don't even play it. Yeah, but so he was a Tetris king. I mean, he literally was one of the best Tetris players in the world. We talked about it a dozen times on the podcast. And so I just really wanted to have him be able to play Tetris in VR and enjoy his life, and like be able to sit down and veg out. And my hope was that like I'd get to play with him every once in a while on a game or two of something else. Like, I know he's not a gamer. He's not like me. He doesn't dedicate a whole lot of time. So I bought him a PlayStation 4 for Black Friday, and I gave him my original VR headset. I hooked up the PlayStation to my account, which I have over 200, 300 games on my PlayStation account. I downloaded 100 games onto his PlayStation, and I sent it to him with the number one game. So this is a guy who doesn't play video games. He receives a PlayStation with 100 games on it, and is like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God. Well, he got it literally last Friday, I want to say. And so, he's been playing Tetris. He's been playing the WWE 2K19. We got in and played Todd, and it's Todd. And actually, pretty funny side story. So we jumped on the other day. He doesn't even know what like online gaming is. So we got him set up with that, and so we jumped in.
So and good job. Now his whole life is gonna fall apart. You're gonna be,
I know.
You get addicted.
I know, it's funny, but so he's on, right? He's on this headset, and we jump into WWE 2K19. Now, I think you might get this one and you might laugh. So we're trying to pick our characters. We're doing a tag match, and I picked Todd, like my buddy, and he picked Gold Dust because that was back in the day. That was one of his favorites.
Yeah,
and it randomly picks our opponents for us, and our opponents were Dusty Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes 85.
Two versions of Dusty Rhodes.
Two versions of Dusty Rhodes, and my brother was like, "Wow, what a smack in the face to Gold Dust! Not only does he have to fight his dead father, but he has to fight his dead father twice."
Oh, man.
So we wrestled, and of course it was on like hard or something, and they kicked the living shit out of us and beat us like 5 times in a row, and it was like, oh man, we had a lot of fun.
They're still using the same engine they've been using for like.
They changed it a little bit. But I'll tell you what, man, they don't know how to make an intuitive game. Like, you used to be like the THQ version of wrestling back in the day was so awesome. It was like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter maneuvers to get what you wanted. And now they have like hundreds of moves per person. And they're trying to make it so real that you could be trying to do something specific, but you happen to be at the feet of these people laying down, and so you grab their toe and pull them as opposed to run against the ropes and dive bomb them or whatever. Like, there's so many variations of moves and so many things that I don't even know like why you would want to learn it all to be able to master it. It's just too much. Same with the UFC type games. There's just too much. Give us combos, give us things, one hit buttons to do certain things, and let us play.
I mean, it needs to be intuitive enough to where you can just rely on basic inputs, and because it should be like all reflex oriented, and then
not even close on this one. Not even close. Like running is, you have to hold the L2 button and use the left stick directional to run. Sounds easy enough, right? But like, figure that one out on your own without the cheat sheet. So I'm over here I'm pressing circle, tapping, like it always used to be circle or square to like initiate a run, at least in the games that I used to play. I haven't played a WWE game in a while, but it's like I'm over here trying to do all these things, and every once in a while I start running because like I mashed the L button, but I didn't mean to. And I'm like, why did I run? Oh my god! Oh, and then I hit the button and I start running. And I'm like, okay, that's good. How do I get in and out of the ring? Oh, well, you got to hold down one button and use the right stick to the angle towards the ring to get in and out. No, what? Like, why can't I just walk against the ropes and have him grab the ropes and walk into the ring? Why do I have to like use 2 combos of sticks to maneuver myself around? It's just really unintuitive. And until they get a system that they probably have it so broken in the code that they can't go back to something simple.
Yeah, and that's why they need to just start from scratch. I mean, the game is just so, I don't know, like you're saying, it would take such a huge time investment to master it. What's the point? It's not like
and I was going to go through and like I used to create 1,000 characters and have a lot of fun with it, but to be honest, it's just not. I just want to be able to play some games with my brother and jump in. And I bought it primarily because Todd's in it, and I'm like, I'm going to buy the video game that my buddy's in for sure.
Yeah.
But what else? So I know we're hitting time here, and you're probably getting yelled at by the wife. But
she's asleep.
Okay. So aside from World of Warcraft, like what PlayStation games or Xbox games are you diving into?
So I got an Xbox One X when it came out. So all my multi-plats, I'm just playing on that just because I really respect what Microsoft has done with the system. And I've never really, I've always been a PlayStation guy, and always will be, but I really respect what Microsoft has done turning around this generation. So, and X I'll be honest with you, it just runs super quiet. So I just like using it. And, but anyways, so I've been playing Red Dead. I played a little bit of Red Dead, and then I stopped playing it because it was such a huge time investment that I just said I'm going to stop playing. I'll play it during the Christmas break when I have time to actually just sit down and play it for a while. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, you have to, there's like mini games for everything in that game. And, there's just like mini games. Have you played it yet?
No, like you said, it's such a time investment. So I'm trying to beat Spider-Man. I'm close to beating Spider-Man, and I think it's either going to be God of War 3 or whatever the new God of War is. God of War PS4
4. Yeah, that's I still got to play that one too.
Yeah, I got those are the two main ones on my backlog though. You got Red Dead and that one.
Well, see, now I'm also playing, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm talking about shitty reviews and why it doesn't matter. Like, I'm actually really enjoying. I'm playing on Xbox Fallout 76. I know you might side of that, but I'm a huge Fallout fanboy. I played the originals on the PSC.
But aren't you disappointed in some of it? Like the graphics just seem very lackluster in every video I've seen.
It is, but I don't know. Like, it is lackluster, but it still has like that campiness to it, like the Fallout, like whoever the writers were for it, and whoever did like the storylines and the plots and the environments, like the actual like items and the logs and stuff in the environments, did a really good job, because it's still interesting to go through there and find stuff, and the world's interesting to me. I just love the Fallout, like that's one of the series I'm just a fanboy of. I'm gonna like regardless, so I'm probably pretty biased, but yeah. I mean, it is buggy and janky though. There's no doubt.
There's a lot of reviews that trash it, and then there's a couple that are like, "This is a 10 out of 10 game." It's like, wow, okay.
Well, you're seeing a lot of YouTube videos here this last week that people come out saying, "Hey, well, everyone, let's be a little, let's come to our senses here. It's not that bad." We don't. People are like talking about lawsuits over it and all that. It's just, it's just the current culture. People just they either bandwagon to love something, or they're gonna bandwagon to hate something. That's why like there's all the 0 reviews. Like no game is that bad, other than like maybe 1 or 2.
Well, I was talking about this the other day too with like Battlefield 5. Some of the reviews, like it's getting kind of trashed. Now
that's because the female on the box art and all that.
And that's what started it, which is fine. They just have male and female. In the game itself, it really doesn't matter. It's like the main game is the multiplayer. I know they have a solo mission, but like most people are playing it for the multiplayer. As far as multiplayer games go, I don't see what a lot of these reviewers are seeing and why they're trashing it. Like the gameplay itself is smooth, and it's as smooth as it's ever been since Battlefield Bad Company 2. They did a lot with like making it very bulky feeling for so long. Like Battlefield 3 was okay, but started to get there. And then Battlefield 4 was fun, but bulkier. And then Battlefield 1, something about it was like, I don't know. When I say bulky, it just felt sluggish compared to previous games. And then all of a sudden now I have Battlefield 5, and it's like you're hustling. I don't know if it's just an ambiance thing or what. Maybe it's color scheme, but it really feels to me better to play. And on top of that, it is one of the most beautiful looking games, and it renders smooth.
Are you playing it on a PC or PS4?
PS4 Pro. Okay. But some people are saying that it's like very glitchy and stuff. I haven't seen one glitch. I haven't seen one main problem other than like clipping through walls or something every once in a while. Like if you're close to a wall with your gun and it sticks out the other side, like minimal things like that. That's in every game, but I'm talking like the other day I watched a video of in WWE 2K19 where the Money in the Bank, they did the Money in the Bank thing after the game had broken. Did you see that video?
I haven't seen it, but I can only imagine. That's one of my favorite parts of the WWE 2K series is watching all the glitch videos. I'm
going to send you this clip. It made me laugh for 10 straight minutes because it's Undertaker versus Brock, I think, or something, and he gets glitched in the corner and he can't get into the ring because it's broken. But then the match plays out and it's so bad and funny. Like nothing even close to that in this game. Like if there's a glitch, it hasn't been big enough to impact my gameplay, and I played a bunch of it. And it's just like, who are the keyboard warriors attacking this game when EA is putting out a game that is good? You got to celebrate it. I know what they did with Battlefront. I know what they've done with so many games, but if they are going to come along and do something right, I think they said that all the game content's going to be in this thing. Like I can't find an ultimate edition of this game. So
I got no bad like I don't hold, like I don't know people, like Konami's basically the only company that I'll shit on universally just because they, what they've done with not just the Metal Gear license, but with one of my favorite game series and all game. I'm a big horror fan. It's Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, yeah.
That's the biggest. What's that?
I played PT at your house.
Yeah, and it honestly breaks my heart and almost makes you want to cry that game's never going to be made, because it would have been probably the best horror game of our lifetimes. And I mean, hopefully a spiritual successor can come out. And
yeah, well, Death Stranding's coming out next year, hopefully.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of a horror thing. It looks like it's gonna have a little bit of a horror theme to it. Like it's definitely some kind of weird, like maybe some like almost like David Lynch type freaking ambiance about it. But I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Well, I'm a couple hours into Resident Evil 7 on VR, and I know that you played that when it first came out. So far, I haven't.
My favorite game experiences, honestly.
Yeah, like, and you told me a bit. It's not much about jump scares, more so than it is about feeling. And I'll tell you, I've never felt creepy. Like it's so creepy, especially that level where you're sitting around the table. Yeah, in VR, like you're sitting around the table, and there's obviously like the dead grandmother sitting to your left, and everyone's just super creepy. And it's like no one's scaring you, right? You're
when that game first came out, they sold these like special edition candles that you could light. They're supposed to smell like blood and burnt leather and all this like weird stuff to kind of give you that extra sense of the atmosphere. And I wish I would have ordered that.
I'll have to look that up and see if I can buy one.
Yeah, it's look up Resident Evil 5 or 7, candle. I know they're selling it whenever it first came out, but yeah, that game, like just the those monsters, whatever those whatever those things where they're like in the basement in the first part of the game.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, where the generators are and all that.
Yes, like
the size when you're in VR, just how tall they are, just and if it wasn't VR, it wouldn't be that bad, but and there are a few jump scares though. How far into it are you?
I'm not near as far as I should be, but again, I chicken out when I go to put that thing in the, to play it.
Well, there's one part in it that's absolutely horrifying in VR.
Don't spoil it for me.
I won't, but it involves a hole in the ground and something falling into it, and then you having to go into the hole and looking down in.
When the time comes, when there's a hole, don't fall in it.
You have to go in it. That's the thing is you have. There's no getting around it. You can either take the helmet off and do it in non-VR, but trust me, it's worth doing in VR.
Yeah, I actually like being scared. Like horror films were my favorite genre growing up and everything, but I think because I have the kids running around me all day and I don't really have a lot of time to play VR by myself, it has to be games where it's interactive with the people around me. So when I go to play Resident Evil, it generally is when nobody else, because one, I admit that I scream sometimes, and two, my wife likes to play tricks on me once every couple of years, and the once is enough to make you hesitant. So
yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's a game better played at night.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to get through that for sure. But you just I started to take you on a tangent. You mentioned best horror games, and I'm thinking Resident Evil feels like, in my opinion, so far, the type of horror game that I would have always loved to play when I was a kid. And
well, some people like don't even like. I mean, it got really good reviews and it sold really well, but there's a certain subset of people that don't even like that direction of Resident Evil. Want to go back to the like more gunplay action. Like, I mean, that has guns in it, but more the action.
Of course, they listen to those people, and they're doing that. Resident Evil 2 is getting the remake.
Well, that's fine, but I just hope the next like mainstream Resident Evil keeps up with that horror atmosphere.
Hey, I'm completely cool with companies trying to branch out and do something different with their story. It doesn't mean that's the only way that they're going to go going forward. You know what I mean? I want to see a gun shooting Resident Evil in VR. I talk a lot about VR here because I love the tech, and I love some of the stuff I've played in it is just the coolest stuff I've ever seen. But again, I'm just like you in the sense of it's a chore sometimes to get in there and do it. I think with the games,
you just have to have the dedication, and I don't know about you, but I like to be able to like listen to podcasts and stuff like games sometimes, and
I watch a lot of Twitch while I'm playing video games. So like if I'm playing Fortnite, I'll throw Twitch up and watch people play while I play Fortnite. And maybe it's silly, but there's certain personalities on Twitch that I actually enjoy watching. And
I do the same thing with PUBG too. I mean, that's coming to PS4 here in a couple weeks.
I read about that. But so you never got into the Fortnite craze, right?
Nope, because I was all about PUBG, and I still am popular just because it's more realistic and it's more tactical. I just like the whole elements of having the low crawl around, and one bullet can take you out instantly, and you don't know if there's someone sniping you on the hill, like that kind of paranoia feeling. Like, I know it sounds weird, but that's kind of fun.
No, I'm with you 100%. Because have you played any Blackout, any Call of Duty?
I have not, just because I haven't had time, and I'm like, I've heard it's good though, so I should probably. It is.
So I played PUBG and I've played the Blackout. I've been playing a lot of Blackout in the past week or two. I didn't like it at first. Like I liked it the first time I played it, but not more than Fortnite, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, I enjoy the gameplay of Fortnite. I'm okay with the building in Fortnite, even though I'm not that great. I can hold my own. I can do enough to be decent in Fortnite.
Yeah.
But I also like the feeling of the gameplay. I am not as pessimistic about the bloom and the shooting and the accuracy as others, because I think it's a little bit realistic in the sense that the bullet doesn't always go exactly where you want it to in real life. But at the same time, it pisses me off at times too, because you're like, man, I freaking headshotted that guy, and it was a random generation that decided I didn't. Well, when you get into Call of Duty and you play with a different set of bullet physics, it takes a few minutes to get used to it. But once you do, it feels better, in my opinion, than Fortnite.
It's more rewarding. You have to actually line up shot. Like, PUBG is the same way. Like, you have bullet drop distance. You have to measure the amount of meters someone is from you, like gauging them through landmarks on the landscape and looking at the map. So,
And the difference too is, like, when you watch people doing trick shots in Fortnite and trick shots in Call of Duty, like multiplayer, the spin 360 headshot and stuff, like, you don't see that as much in Blackout, because it's a different style of game, and like you said, it's got that suspense aspect in it. Like, you
how long are games in that?
Anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, no more than 20. I mean, I think most of the time it's 12 to 15 minutes, and that's even getting to the bottom numbers. It goes pretty quick.
That's actually a con to me. Like, I like, that's one thing I like about PUBG is the kind of longer games. Like,
if you like longer games, you need to get yourself Battlefield 5. Now, I've been playing all three of these games kind of hand in hand. Like, I put a little bit of time. I'll play a couple of rounds of Fortnite and a couple of rounds of Blackout, or a couple of rounds of Battlefield 5 and a couple of rounds of Fortnite. Like, each night I'm doing a little bit of different and trying to get the feel for all of them.
Yeah.
Dude, they have rounds, 64 players. They're an hour long. And
see, I like that, because I mean, that's what I like about PUBG, and I think I'd like about that is because every round feels like, especially if I last a while, like an adventure. Like, there's always a story to tell. Looking back at it, like, and it's
Battlefield is the die respawn aspect, because it's still the multiplayer thing, but they're coming out with their battle royale style. I can't wait. It's going to come out in March. I wish it was out now, because I'd love to kind of put them all together. But I'm hoping that they have time to develop something that makes you want to play theirs a little bit more. By then, Blackout will have been out for several months. People will be looking for something new. PUBG will be out on PS4 for several months. Fortnite's obviously got their thing going. So if they're smart, they'll adapt over the next few months. But who knows? They're keeping it kind of secret as to what it's going to be like.
I'd like to see them kind of do like a PUBG on steroids without all the bugs. Like, that'd be awesome.
That's what Blackout is, to be honest. Like, if you play Blackout, a lot of people playing Blackout are saying, like, I watch Dr. Disrespect. He's one of the main.
Yeah, I love that guy.
And he played a lot of PUBG. He plays nothing but Blackout now, and he says flat out, like, this is what PUBG could have been.
Yeah, but the games they're pretty short though. But I mean, I guess maybe it doesn't feel short. I guess it all depends on how the flow of the match is.
I mean, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, 10 to 15, 20 minutes. Again, I die a lot, so.
Yeah, I might play into
it. But no, I've been having a lot of fun with it. And I noticed one of the other things too, and I talked about it a couple weeks ago, was that people are more camaraderie, or what is the right word? People are more willing to work together.
Yeah.
In Blackout than any game I've played in PlayStation 4. So like when I jump on Fortnite and you're playing a squad with random people, you have like two kids who don't speak English who are yelling at each other, and then you have another guy without a mic, or you have a 12-year-old who's swearing his ass off just being like Mr. Tough Guy, or like, dude, 1 out of every 2 games I get on, I always talk on my mic. I'm like, hey, does anyone have a mic?
Yeah.
1 out of every 2 games, you have a child who is like less than 10. And out of those 2 games, or like out of that, you're going to get a kid who's like, yo, fuck you. Like the first thing you hear, you join a game and they're like, yo, fuck off. And you're like, what?
That's even worse than Warcraft.
And you're like, wait, we're on a team, right? Like we're random squad. You want to win, right? And they're like, yo, fuck you, dude. So I've been on a mission to like straighten these people out, because I got the dad in me coming out, and I'm like, do you really like not want to win this game? Because if so, I'll just back out. And they're like, no, don't back out. All right, grow up a little bit. Like I want to win. I win some games every once in a while. Have you won? Oh yeah, I got 100 wins. And then I look them up, and I'm like, because you can see that stuff, and I'm like,
yeah,
no, you don't have any wins. I know, I'm just kidding. It's like, well, do you want to try to get a win? Do you want to try? And then you have another person. It's like, yeah, man, why don't you shut the fuck up and play? The next thing you know, we're like doing good and we're playing together, you know? Or you have the kid who's like, no, fuck off. And then they just run and gun and die. And
that'd be a good topic. I could probably discuss that for hours.
About Warcraft.
Different types of communities and different games, and how they kind of evolved and all that. Because
Call of Duty was that, you know, like, hey, your mother, blah, 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 you know. And now I'm seeing Blackout is different because it's a different style of game. And you have all the kids and the immature people staying in Fortnite, and you have their dads and their moms. So I guess mostly dad. I haven't talked to any women there yet, but mostly dads coming in playing some Blackout and wanting to get some wins, you know?
Yeah.
When you have a person who wants to win playing, you can do pretty good if you're coordinating and you're doing all this stuff. And so I like to get in there and do that. I like to play with friends more often than nobody or randoms, but at the same time, I'm the first person to pick up when the mics kick in and try to get that
That's
going.
like the opposite problem in World of Warcraft, where everyone wants to win too much, and like people are so like impatient in this game that it is they just like, if you waste 20 seconds of their time, they'll rate you. It's ridiculous.
That's nuts. Yeah, people have they're very high and mighty as well. Like I play the save the world aspect just to get some V-Bucks, and it's
that's fun. I like the save. Well, it was fun for a while, and then I my gauge of when to stop playing a game is if I fall asleep playing it, and it's like early in the night, and I did with that for some reason. And same thing with Kingdom Hearts. I tried to get into that, and I kept falling asleep. That's just me, I guess.
Well, with the Fortnite, like they stopped putting money into the Save the World like they were with Battle Royale, and it showed their storylines were lackluster, and they stopped. So if you got to a certain point, there was nothing else to do other than repeat boring missions.
It took forever to progress and Save the World too. Like I remember,
dude, you have no idea. I put so many hours into that, and to this moment, I'm still not level 100. And I was so close to 100, and then literally 2 weeks ago, they went and revamped the whole system, and now showing up at like level 88. I was 99.5. I was so close to 100, and now because of the new progression system, which I guess I'm more powerful, but it's like they just put me just a bit more further away, and it's like that's the kind of shit that sends me away from a game. It's like you don't take that away from me. You know, why would you make it harder? I don't know, like the progression. So, but all these games are different, and it's funny to see the clientele that joins them and builds them. We talked a little earlier about like the people who bark loudest get what they want, and it's like, man, you see Fortnite, they make instant changes when people online get unhappy, rather than tell their customer base like, chill out, we're trying something out. They allow.
I mean, they just develop a vision, and then you got to react to the public. But I think sticking to your vision is.
I think it's cool to listen to your audience and to like adapt, but at the same time, if you give in to every demand, because you're just so afraid of not being number one anymore or something, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. At the same time, I love the competitive aspect of Fortnite. I like watching it more than I like playing it, because it's like a football game to me. I like seeing some of these big guys go into the tournaments, and I enjoy watching the tournaments. It's fun for me. But I could not sit there and watch people play Blackout or PUBG. It's just not entertaining for me personally.
Well, here's the thing. I agree, but then I think it's hilarious watching people play PUBG that suck at it and watching them rage out. Like that's hilarious. But yeah, watching like pro level PUBG is pretty boring, because they tend to play the more patient and safe route rather than run and gun.
I think that's why I like Doc, because he's always in it. He's never sitting on the outside. This guy pushes. He's always like pushing the pace, and then he rages about the game no matter what it is. I hate this game, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Funny to watch. I think there was one more thing, and then let me see here. Let me look at my little cheat sheet. So, okay. Some upcoming releases that I'm interested in. We got Just Cause 4 coming out on the 4th of December. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate coming out the 7th, and then Borderlands 2 VR coming out 12/14. Yeah, I pre-ordered Borderlands 2. I know there's some people freaking out because it doesn't have the co-op, and I know they're freaking out because it may not include all the DLC. But
the Borderlands universe, like the game's just, I don't know, like just being immersed in that universe is so much fun in VR. So
that's what I like about it. And like I said earlier, it's like a prototype. Like this is that company. I don't know what company makes Borderlands, to be honest. It might be some EA or something, but whoever it is.
No, it's I gotta look them up. They're the same ones. Gearbox, I think.
Gearbox. Yeah, that's right. So here you have a company taking a huge risk by investing their development work into a VR game. In my opinion, people have been asking for Borderlands 3. They've been saying, what are they doing next? Well, they're probably working on Borderlands 3, and they're probably seeing if VR will work in Borderlands 3 to launch a simultaneous flat screen / VR experience or something. That's what I see when I see them doing this. Because
same as Bethesda with, what is it? Skyrim VR.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you're talking about the PlayStation 5, and I know Xbox was saying that they're not getting into VR, but they probably will for the next generation. I mean, I think everyone will, because it's kind of a standard aspect now. Like there's enough people playing it and buying it that if you bake it in and make it easier for them, then it'll just come along. But
they'll probably get into it as soon as wireless becomes viable.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's more, I think they're letting the season 1 of the VR headsets and the first generation of it iron out some of these kinks. Like we know we need different handsets or different move controllers and things like that for PlayStation.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to get on a tangent of what Xbox's game plan, but I'll just say that I think that since Phil Spencer's been in there, I think they've just been trying to correct the ship, and they've done a good job at doing that, trying to regain consumer trust. So
because they definitely ruined that for a little while.
But think about the potential, though, if you have both Xbox and PlayStation going in hard on VR, like having serious competition there.
I mean, there's a game called 2MD. I think it's 2 Minute Drill Football in VR. It's cheap. It's like $20 or $10 or something. It's a very basic game. What it is you're the pods, like the things that you hit in football, the pads that you run against.
Yeah.
And every character, it's like very somewhat cheesy looking, right? But the graphics are good, but it's cartoony, not cartoony, I'm sorry, but it's like, I don't know. You know, you're not playing humans, right? Everything's like these metal things. And you develop the plays, and these things bounce around the field, going in the play that you developed. You drag these things around a chalkboard, and you make the play how you want it. And then you truly throw the football like you're really throwing a football. Like you have to whip it if you want it to go fast. You have to lob it if you want it to be like a lob. And the accuracy and the precision within this game is phenomenal. It's one of the best, like, tracking and the feel. Like, when you're throwing this thing, I played it for a couple hours. My arm hurt the next day for like all day. I was like, wow, I really threw enough for my arm to have pain and fatigue. It was crazy because game, but you say, look, this is the innovation that could allow Madden to truly be a VR experience, not a shit VR experience like NBA 2K VR or whatever that was. That was garbage. I'm talking about a full-fledged football game because they've integrated rushing, they've integrated passing and scoring. The defense aspect they didn't really do much on in this particular game, but leave it to, EA or whoever else to develop that aspect. They got the hard part down, the throwing and the mechanics, and it's beautiful in this particular game.
Yeah.
So I see games like this, like Borderlands 2 and all that, like just innovation of what could be. Farpoint was phenomenal. It was just so good.
That's kind of where we're at right now, those innovation stage. Once they get to the point to where they can start refining and putting in, like we're talking about the Diablo game and then Diablo itself. Like, if they can make a game that it has all like the same level of systems and complexity as Diablo, and have like a high skill ceiling and things like that, I think that's where VR will take off, to have games worth investing lots of time in.
I agree.
That's why I think an MMO in VR would be amazing. Maybe dangerous for a lot of us, but it'd be amazing.
Well, they're starting. There's a company called, or I forget the name of the company, but a game called D-Day, and started off with the first one was very bad graphics, but it was fun enough gameplay that they were able to make a second one, and that might even not even be the real name of the game, to be honest. I'm sorry, but basically it's a multiplayer game like that, and there's 64 players or something maximum that they can do in there. But there was a game called, there was a what was the game of the flying one? Starblood Arena.
Okay, that was the first year. That wasn't the release. Yeah, that was like for 6 months.
Yeah, so if you put in Starblood Arena right now, the game holds up. It's beautiful. It plays very good. It's fast-paced, and you're flying around in a flight version of a Call of Duty style game. Like, you're chasing people, you're shooting them down, they respawn, they come back to get you. And they did it very well. So to me, a game like that shows that it can have good graphics in VR. It can play smooth and seamless. It can look good, play good, be good, and the colors were popping. I mean, everything was great about it, and it was something that I would love to see more of. However, I'm not a huge flight game fan, so I didn't jump into this one that much. It didn't even give me that much motion sickness by any means at all. I would have thought that this one would, but it became super cheap. I don't know if the player base is still there or not. I don't even know if it's worth buying, but I had a lot of fun with it. I think they put bots in there too, so if you just wanted to play. But anyways, it looked good, and it gave me hope that there could be multiplayer games like Call of Duty. Riggs was another one. Did you ever play Riggs?
Oh yeah, we played that. Remember we tested that game when my alignment was all screwed up.
That's right. And other than me getting motion sickness for 3 days because of that game in the demo, like in the beginning stage, after I played it, when you get into the main arena, the motion sickness goes. It's like that demo area was. I
actually got deep enough into that game where I was able to get legitimately pissed off by the imbalances within the game, to where like I recognize that certain mechs were just way overpowered versus other ones.
But like that was proof that you could do multiplayer, FPS type.
Okay, they did it well. It's just it's like an arena.
Borderlands style VR battle royale game, and maybe that's what we're working on, because the Borderlands world, there's millions of variations of guns, or billions or something. Like that'd be great if everyone had guns and.
I think that'd be awesome. They could even do it like, I'd like to see a type of like battle royale game like that with mobs like involved too. So not really a MOBA, but like a battle royale game, but with mobs in the world too.
Well, yeah. So they, I don't know if you saw, but during the Halloween season, Fortnite did that, and people flipped out. People got so pissed off, but they put in like spawn stations where the monsters from the Save the World, just redesigned a little bit. They showed up, and you could get loot off of them and stuff. But
people flipped out.
Well, people were really pissed off because it got annoying to them because they weren't used to having to fight these things. But also it changed everyone's game up because some people like to hide. Well, the monsters start creeping on you. And then everyone knows there because the monsters don't move unless there's somebody nearby. Maybe they could do roaming.
So yeah, the game would have to be balanced around it.
But it was, I thought it was personally. I thought it was balanced perfectly for that style, because basically it put the building, you could still build, right? But say you didn't, I mean, these monsters came and tore your buildings up, especially in Endgame as the circle got smaller and smaller and smaller. People couldn't build structures because down below you have these monsters just chopping your building down. Meanwhile, it gives away your position. I just thought it brought a different atmosphere to the game, which I thought was refreshing. But so many people were like, "Fuck this! This sucks! I hate it!" And they took it out. I mean, it didn't last more than a couple of weeks, and they took it out. And I mean, I know it was a Halloween thing, but I think they were testing it too to see if like what the crowd would think. I loved it. I love the fact that you could get in, grind a little bit. You know, if you got lucky, you could get a gold gun off of one of these guys and have enough loot to go fight the final battle, you know?
Yeah, any type of randomness to it. I mean, I think eventually here in the future, I know we gotta end here soon, but like when eventually we get to like a 500 or 1,000 person battle royale type game, you know, whatever kind of random factors they could have in to add to it would be pretty cool.
It's cool to see this progression too, because I played a lot of DayZ when it first came out, which was a
oh yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah, that's where H1Z1 came from, and the King of the Hill, which was what started Battle Royale. So DayZ, for anyone not aware, is basically you get one life, you die, you come back somewhere else, but you start off fresh, and you have to eat, and you have to drink, and you have to find water and food like quickly as soon as you spawn. You have no map, you have no idea where the hell you are on this map, and it's all out war. It's like scary as hell. I mean, you're crawling through the woods in the dark. You can't see a damn thing. Zombies come running at you. You don't have any guns. You have nothing. You're running and someone snipes you and you're dead. Just like that. Boom. Game over. You could be building a character for 3 weeks on a server. You don't notice it. Someone snipes you. You're dead. Everything gone. And
no respawn?
The respawn is you start off with nothing and you're not anywhere near your bag. And by the time you get to your bag, it's already been looted. So it doesn't matter. Like, you could potentially get back to it, but it's not like the map is so big. It's like, you know, like a real island size. It's not small by any means. And there's no vehicle. Well, they probably added vehicles in the past couple of years and stuff, but it was based off of the engine for Arma, the game Arma 3, I think.
Yep, it was like I know all about Arma. I mean, Arma originated from was it Operation Flashpoint way back in the day. Yeah. And then, which I love playing, even though it was all buggy and janky as hell. And, but yeah.
But I love that style, like you were saying earlier, the fear of playing like a PUBG or something, where you're crawling in the grass and you can't necessarily see where your enemy is, but you know there's someone shooting over there. And like same with DayZ was in the early days.
You have to listen to everything too, as like you're saying, like in PUBG you're crawling and you get like it pays to have like directional headphones so you can hear what gunfire is coming from. You hear what type of guns they have, and you know it's just far more tactical than than Fortnite, for example, which is fun in its own right, but in a different sort of way.
Yeah, Fortnite just has such a unique style to it with the building that I think it's silly because it's nowhere near realistic and that you can just whip up a giant build in 2 seconds. But at the same time...
Well, that's why it's so popular, too, because, you know, how else are you going to get away with the game with, like, guns and, you know, and market it to kids my daughter's age.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it nuts? Like, Jagger can play pretty damn good. He got 8 kills in a game, or 9 kills in a game today. And, you know...
I mean, he's probably not the only... how old is he?
Well, I was telling him today, we were talking about this actually. It's funny you say that because I think if he were to be playing, he's 7, if he were to be playing with all 7-year-olds. If they did a tournament for his age group, I know he'd be, towards the top. He'd be winning rounds. Like, he's good enough to do that. Just
trained him well.
Yeah, but he's playing against like people like me who would demolish him just because.
Yeah.
And he's playing against people way better than me, people that demolish me. So yeah. So I mean, it's like he gets upset. I didn't make it, whatever. But then every once in a while, like if he plays with me and we play tactful and we make the finals, like, dude, one of the funniest things I got so pissed at him, but I shouldn't have. Is it came down to, okay, they had a big event where the cube blew up in the sky. I don't know if you heard about any of that, but they built this storyline up where there was a cube floating around, and they said, tune in tomorrow at 1:00. If you're online at 1:00, you'll be part of this event. So you jump into a game. The cube was like this big pulsating giant purple cube that radiated energy and all this stuff. It lifted the house in the center of Loot Lake up into the sky, and then at 1:00, an event happened where like it exploded and everyone floated up. Everyone that was playing floated up into the sky, and then we were all in like this white space, like the inside of a computer or something. It was really cool. And that lasted about a minute and a half, and then they threw everyone out of the white space and back into the map, but the map looked different. And like the Loot Lake was different. It was drained and there was loot and stuff in it and everything. So everyone got thrown back onto the map. Well, me and Jagger almost won that game where we came out of the thing. I would have recorded it and everything because it was so cool. We played a little tactical. We moved around the map, and it came down to me and Jagger and 2 other players. And I was like, dude, we got this. I'm going to win this game with my son and post it on YouTube. It's going to be awesome. And then, of course, we had perfect advantage, perfect push. We were up top on a mountain shooting down on him. He jumps down, goes down there, and then turtles up and boxes himself in and hides. Well, I'm over here destroyed by 2 people. I'm like, dude, you didn't even do anything. You didn't even try to like cause attention. He just dipped. He dipped and didn't even tell me. I thought he was up there with me, and we lost. And I was like, dude, what?
Survival mode.
But I don't blame him. I mean, he's, like I said, he's 7. But at the same time, if you were playing with other 7-year-olds, man, he's capable and all that. It's just funny to see that he's actually able to hold his own against everybody.
No, that's pretty cool.
But you're right. They market it towards these kids, and that's what you get on the headsets, and that's what they're aiming for, because they're clicking buy on all these skins, and they're making dollars. I don't blame them for it. But yeah, man. So anything else you wanted to bring up before we wrap it up?
No. I'm honestly pretty exhausted right now, which is rare for me at this time. But Roman's been my son's been waking up at like 4:30 in the morning. Lately, so yeah.
He still got that haircut?
No haircut. We're not allowing it.
Like he still got all that hair?
He does, and everyone keeps calling him a girl, and Winnie keeps wanting to punch him in the face. So,
we cut Wesley's hair after a while. Like, his hair was so long, and
I remember his was long when I first met you guys.
It was down like 12 inches down his back. I mean, it was really, really long. But everywhere we went, like, I'd bring him to the doctors, and like there'd just be an old guy sitting there. He's like, "You have a very beautiful daughter." I got that.
I never thought he looked like a girl, but
No, but
because I knew he was a boy.
Yeah, and he didn't look like a girl if you looked at him. But at the same time, he said to me one time, "Daddy, am I a boy or a girl?" Because people said it to him so often. I was like, that. I went out and I got him a boy haircut. Crystal got so pissed.
Get him a mullet?
And, no, not a mullet. Yeah, right. No, I got him just a cutesy, like a little boy haircut. He had his bangs and everything. Crystal was so mad that he hasn't had a haircut since, and I don't think I said, well, it's on you,
Yeah.
But I don't mind his long hair, but it's not like Crystal never did it. There's just like a mess, and he was West the mess, So you gotta hair. You gotta take care of it. Otherwise,
trust me, I know that is with Evie's.
Yeah, exactly. Evie's hair, geez, that's long.
Yeah, it's like anytime I give her a bath, it's like a freaking 40-minute commitment. Just trying to get her hair dried and then brushed and everything.
Man, being bald, that's why you get out of the shower, you just touch your head with the towel and you're done. It's like, that's it.
I know.
When I was a kid, man, I used to spike my hair up. I used to take 20 minutes putting gel in it.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Every damn piece looking perfect. Not a single girl wanted to go out with me in high school, but I spent the time, man. I spent the time now old. And
probably why, because I don't think women want to date guys that spend more time on their hair than they do.
Well, Jason, I really appreciate it. I know we spent a while here. Thank you for.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for it again next week. So
nice, man. Yeah, definitely. You're welcome anytime. And yeah, we'll start getting you in here regularly. And I don't know what Wednesdays are like for Joe, but I know he'll join when he can. And,
okay. Hey man, whatever works, and I will. You'll see me on PSVR probably tomorrow night after my raid. So
just pick me on. Easiest for me is on Facebook if you just message me on Messenger. But if you can text me too if you want, and I'll get in and play with you on something.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna chill and play Fallout the rest of the night. But yeah.
Oh, you said if you get on VR, jump in and play an hour of that Predator Vendetta Rising. Maybe
the way if you compare it to Diablo, I will jump in there immediately.
And you're more than welcome to trash my opinion on that. You might come back next week and be like, dude, it's not Diablo. But I'd love to hear you since you played so much. Diablo.
I got an open mind. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but be honest too. Don't come back and be like, it was great if you didn't like it. If you thought it was.
No, trust me, I'm brutally honest. But there's some shit a lot of people like that I don't like. So I'll tell you.
Well, I look forward to it, man. Hey, have a great evening, and again, thanks for jumping in, and look forward to talking to you again next week.
Have a good night.